Thank you, Mataji. Hari.
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the kids like Mihika, Nihal, Bhumi. How are you all doing?
Good, Mataji.
Good. So, are you all going to school?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Mihika also has school. Bhumi also has school. Okay. Nihal. So, can you all see what is today's topic? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, so because you're only 3 kids, you all can unmute and share your thoughts and ideas. So what do you all know? What do you think about concentration? What is actually concentration? Focus. Okay, go ahead, Linka.
Concentration means to focus on the mind and focus on what you're doing.
Focus your mind on what you are doing. A very simple, apt, and good answer. So Nihal, you want to add anything to that? What do you think concentration means? Okay, Nihal, if you're talking, you are not unmuting. So Bhumi, do you want to answer? I don't know how old are you, but do you want to answer?
Focusing.
Focusing. Very good. So do you all think we need concentration in our life? So let's go to the definitions. What is concentration? The action or power of focusing one's attention or mental effort. So you have to focus on the thing that you're doing. You have to give it complete attention. Mentally, physically, body, mind, and consciousness, all of them should focus on that thing. So that is concentration. So my next question, do we need to concentrate to do any activity?
Yes.
Mehika is saying yes, Bhumi is saying yes. Nihal, what do you say? Do we have to focus? Do we need concentration? Can you hear me, Nihal? Can you hear me, Nihal?
Mataji, Nihal is not unmuted, might be.
Okay, that's okay. So we need concentration. So Mihika is saying we need concentration. Bhumi is also saying we need concentration. So generally, what do we have? What are the things that we use to concentrate? Like, okay, go ahead. Our mind, especially what is the important thing that goes everywhere, even though you're physically present. Let's say all of you may be in front of your computer right now, listening to the class. But if you are thinking about the TV serial or the movie that you have watched before, or something your friend has said, then what does that mean? What is that means? Like your body is present, but your mind is not present. You have different thoughts. Your thoughts are not related to the thing that we are doing right now. So your thoughts are not, your focus is not on what I am saying, or your focus is not on listening to what it is being told, but But if anybody look at you now physically, can they say that you're not focusing? Because you're physically present there. That means focus is just not the bodily presence, but also requires your mind, thoughts to be focused on that thing. So do we need concentration and focus for only spiritual things or only for material things?
Both.
Both. So we need concentration for any activity. For any activity that we do, we need focus and concentration. So after the class, you all can try one simple example that I give, what happens. Like you take two glasses, one empty glass and one glass with full of water. So you maybe in your kitchen sink or in the bathroom, carefully with full attention, with your body, mind, everything on that, try to pour water from one glass to another glass carefully and notice how much you have spilled. Next time, you do the same action, but this time you're talking to your mother or you're watching something on the TV or you are not paying attention to what you are doing. What generally can happen? Can you all guess what happens?
More spills.
Water spills, right? When you focus, when you pay attention to both the glasses and when you slowly do, you can transfer the water from one glass to another glass without spilling. But if you don't focus, if you don't pay attention, or if you are not steady, like if you're dancing and doing, like your body is not focusing, and you are watching TV or you're listening to something else that is going on outside, your mind is not focusing. And so if you are not focusing in either way, then you can't do that job good. So the difference is here that focus. And what do we really need? What we all actually discussed earlier also, that what is that we need? What is the first thing that we need to focus on something? Mind. We need our mind. So what is actually mind? Did you all ever saw a mind? Like how you see your hand, the leg. Nihal, did you ever see your mind? You saw your mind? Nihal, did you see your mind? Okay. So Bhumi, did you get a chance to see your mind?
I don't know.
You don't know, but you know it. You have mind, right? But
Yeah.
you didn't see. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So not all the things that we know that we have can be seen. Like especially soul, we cannot see. But soul is what we are. If soul is not in the body, what happens to the body? If soul leaves the body, what happens to the body?
It dies.
It dies. The body starts getting spoiled.
It's useless.
It doesn't respond. It doesn't do anything. It can't move. It can't talk. And after sometimes, like how a rotten vegetable, if you keep a vegetable outside, not in the fridge, and for a longer time, it gets spoiled and it starts smelling bad, right? So similarly, the mind also, the body also becomes once the soul goes away. But soul, we know that it is present because of the presence of the soul, the body is functioning and we are conscious, but we have never seen the soul. So there are certain truths which we may not be seeing with our eyes. They are very subtle, but they are present. So let's first focus a little bit on what is mind. Then we will see how to control our mind and focus. So what is the first line, Mihika, that I wrote here?
mind is part of the subtle body.
Mhm.
We souls have a gross body and a subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego, identifying who we are.
So we all have a gross body. That's what we see. So when I say Mihika, I can see Mihika there, like with her hands, legs, eyes, certain kind of a face, like that. And then we all have a subtle body, which is called mind, intelligence, and false ego. So these three subtle things that we never see, but we know that we have them because we use our mind to think. And then we also use our intelligence. Like, when we read something, it goes and gets saved in our intelligence. And next time when it will come, like when you touch fire, first time if it burns, then you know that next time when you go near the fire, you will keep yourself safe by not touching it. So that, like, because in your intelligence, you have already saved that fire is going to burn. So next time you won't be touching the fire. So you will be using your intelligence and you won't be touching it. So false ego. False ego is something the soul thinks that it is this body. Soul never thinks that it is spiritual. It is not this body. Most of the time we think that we are our body. So we falsely identify ourselves. Instead of soul, we identify ourselves as body. So these are the three subtle things. So mind is a central sense. Like if you take a hand, so this is the palm, right? So like these are the five senses, like five gross senses, that eyes, ear, tongue, nose, and touch. So these five things give information to the mind, and mind receives the information from these things and processes and acts accordingly. So mind is a central sense, and mind is like the palm, and these five things we gather information from these five things. When you see something, you take that information in. When you're touching something, you know whether it is soft, hard, or anything. When you're smelling something, you know whether that is a good smell or a bad smell. So like that, we all gather information and we feed that to the mind, and mind stores all that in the intelligence and it uses to make judgments. Okay, so generally we see two kind of things in this world. The things, that means table, chair, wood, house, which does not move, which they are existing but they don't move, so they don't live. And similarly, you see some living beings like animals, humans, birds, ants, so inside them. So they exist and they also conscious. They know what is happening to them. So the wood, the plant, the desk, the computer desk that you are all doing, they don't know what is happening to them. They are not conscious. Like if you go in front of a desk and scold the desk, or if you go in front of the computer desk and say praise the desk does not respond because the desk is not conscious, But the beings like we, trees, animals, all these are conscious. Even though we don't know the language, the animals can figure out whether you are loving them or whether you are hating them. So mind is not like, mind is in between these two. Sometimes mind is unconscious, so we cannot call it as a thing, but sometimes it's very alert, it's very conscious. So that's why we can't call it as a being. So mind is a subtle material thing. Mind is also a material thing. It is not spiritual. Only soul is spiritual. Mind, intelligence are not spiritual. So there are three things: mind, intelligence, and soul. So most of the times people doesn't know that there are three things, and they often think that mind is themselves. Like they think that, oh, maybe I am mind, or sometimes they think I am intelligence. But no, we are souls and we are spiritual beings, and then we use mind and intelligence. So the intelligent and mind belongs to us. Like if you have a school bag, which belongs to you, but you are not the school bag. Similarly, we all are souls. And what do we have? The subtle body part, mind and intelligence. So we are not minds. So if anybody, because many adults also doesn't know that. They always think that, oh, I am mind. I am my thoughts. I am my thinking. So they all think like that. So mind is a subtle material thing and soul has mind. So what actually the mind does? Do you, Bhumi and Mihika, do you know what actually mind does?
It gives you knowledge.
It gives you knowledge. Okay. And what else?
It has folders which stores your knowledge that you learn.
So we are souls, right? So where is soul in our body?
In our heart.
In our heart. So where is mind?
In your head.
Kind of. But mind is not really a gross thing like which is somewhere near our heart or our mind. And so why are you saying that mind is in the head? Because our brain is in the head. Bhumi? That's why. So actually brain is in the head and soul is in the heart, right? So what mind does is mind, so the consciousness, like if somebody is, what is consciousness? Consciousness is like, you are aware of the things, the awareness that you have, that if somebody is hitting your hand, you are aware of it, right? If somebody is touching your leg, you are aware of it. That is consciousness. So consciousness actually belongs to the soul, but this consciousness is taken from the soul to the brain by mind. So it transfers this consciousness from the soul to the brain. So that is what actually mind does. So if you all noticed, can you give me an example for a solid thing? Like
Ice.
Ice can become a liquid, right? Just a pure solid thing, like grain. Okay, Bhumi, you are saying something?
A chair.
A chair. So chair is a solid thing. It doesn't melt into something or it doesn't spread, right? So it will be there wherever you keep it. So if you take water, what happens to water? If you pour it at one place, what does it do?
It spreads.
It spreads. And gas, what happens to gas?
It spreads in the air.
It spreads and it distributes more bigger, more wider and more faster than the liquid. And most of the times you cannot see the gas, right? You know that it is present, but you can't see it, right? You can't really, you will only smell it, but you can't see it. So similarly, the more and more the things become subtler, we can only feel them. We cannot really see them. So likewise, the mind, we can feel, we know that we have the mind by the functions of the mind. So what are the functions of the mind? Thinking, feeling emotions, and saying yes or no to some things, or like worrying. These are all the functions of the mind, right? So because we are able to do all those things, we think that we have a mind. If we have mind, then only we can do all those things. You cannot think if you don't have mind. But you cannot see mind because mind becomes subtler. So consciousness, as I said, the awareness of the things, awareness is from the soul, but soul is near the heart, and brain is a gross element, which is an organ in the head, and mind is taking the consciousness from the soul to the head. So in a kind, mind is spread, is distributed throughout our body, kind of a thing. It is not like you can point at one place and say that mind is in heart or mind is in head. It kinds of takes the instructions, the consciousness from the heart to the brain. So mind kind of distributed all over our body. We may not directly see and say that this is mind, this is how it looks, but we can tell by its functions, like how it has distributed itself, like how a gas if you brought a rotten apple, if you bring a gas inside a house and leave it there, it spreads the whole house, and it kind of distributes in the whole house, right? And then when I ask Mihika, where is gas Somi? She cannot pinpoint a particular place because it's not in one place. It's in the air. It spread, it got distributed all over the place. Mind is also like that. Mind carries out the functions from the heart to the brain, but mind is distributed in the body. It, like air, it's distributed in the body and it's all over it. So that's why we can only tell the presence of the mind by its functions, but we cannot, even if somebody opens our head or our heart, they cannot really find out where is mind, where is intelligence, or where is soul. These are subtle things. They are not visible, but we know that they are present by their functions. Is that point clear or confusing, Mihika and Bhumi?
Clear.
So if there is something gross, I can easily control it. But something so subtle and so powerful that it gets distributed and it can think anything. Like even though I'm sitting in my drawing room, I can think about something happening way back in my school. Or I can think something that has happened in India when I visited. Or I can see some vacation pictures of somebody in Europe or Paris, and I can imagine how Europe and Paris looks. So the more the things are subtler, the more it becomes difficult to control them. So the mind is so subtle that it can travel everywhere. For you to travel from one place to another place, you need so many things. Isn't it, Mihika? You need a visa, you need to go from here to there. But to just think in mind, you don't really need it. And nobody even knows what you're thinking in your mind, right? And can think anything. Mind can think anything. Mind can have good thoughts, bad thoughts. So we don't know. So then it becomes very, very difficult. So as we have learned, mind plays an important role in concentrating. Maybe your parents or you have a lot of homework, so you have all the homework with you. You are sitting on a computer table to do the homework, but your mind is traveling everywhere. It is going and listening to the TV that is running in your drawing hall. It is going and paying attention to the conversation your parents are having, or it is remembering about the book, Harry Potter book that you have read. So it has so many distractions. The mind has so many distractions, which is not letting you focus on your activity that you have to do. So even though your body is there, your mind is not there. So let us see how to make our mind focus and concentrate. And we will take examples from Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Krishna has said, we will follow those things. Before that, let us go to beautiful examples of focusing. So do you all remember Arjuna's story? Where Dronacharya instructs all. Okay, Bhumi, you are saying something?
Yeah, I remember that story.
Okay, go ahead. You want to tell?
Yeah, like the 5 Pandavas and the Kauravas, they were learning archery from Dronacharya, and one day Dronacharya given a task to all the Kauravas and the Pandavas that if you could shoot the bird, the eye of a bird, and none of them, like except Arjuna, could do it because Arjuna was on concentrated on the eye of the bird, and he was saying, "I can see nothing but the eye of the bird."
Yes. Everyone else was seeing. Some are only seeing the tree. Some can't even see the bird. Some can go further and see the bird, but some cannot see the eye of the bird to shoot the arrow. Only Arjuna is the person who is only seeing the eye. He is not seeing anything else. That is how focused his mind is on the target. So Arjuna's and Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj went to the forest to meditate and get liberated. But once he went there, he saw a deer, he got attached to that deer. And whenever he do anything, like he wake up in the morning, he take bath to do the puja or to do the sadhana, to do the chanting or meditation, he will think about the deer. Did deer wake up? What happened to the deer? Is deer eating? Or did deer went out? Is anybody attacking the deer? So whatever he is doing, his thoughts are going to the deer. He has no control, no focus. Actually, he left all his family, his kids, his wife, his kingdom, everything, and he came to forest to meditate and to get liberated. But after coming to the forest, he got himself attached to a deer. And whenever he sit to do any activity, he sit to do a yajna, he thinks of deer. He's taking bath, he's thinking of a deer. He's cooking food, he's thinking of deer. So he's distracted in each and every activity that he's doing. So these are the two beautiful examples and so many lessons for us to learn from these two things. So our focus should be going towards Arjuna's concentration and focus. So we all have to train ourselves so that we can be having focus on the activity that we are doing like Arjuna. Focus and concentration we need both in material life and in spiritual life. If you don't have focus and concentration on your studies or on the extracurricular activities that you are doing, like singing, dancing, or playing games and all, you will not be able to go anywhere. But what is the disadvantage you have if you don't focus? What is the biggest disadvantage that you have if you don't focus? Can both of you list some of disadvantages when you don't focus?
Get more mistakes in the task you're doing.
Yeah, you won't be successful in the task that you are doing. And what else? That is a major thing. There is another thing also.
You won't be able to learn the thing you're learning at that time.
Yes, there is one more thing. Very good. Two things have already come. The third thing is that you are wasting time and your energy, right? If you have focus and concentration, then you may completely finish and you have enough intelligence. Let's say you know how to do the multiplication and you know how to do addition. And I gave you a problem sheet of 30 problems. So if you have focus and concentration, you will finish that maybe in 20 minutes. But if you don't have focus and concentration, you will do one problem and you're looking around, you're going to the kitchen, getting a glass of water and sitting down. And then you do another problem, you go into the drawing room and watch your siblings' TV. And then you come and do this, and you do another problem and you go and put on the TV and watch TV. Then how much time the problems will take to finish?
Maybe 1 hour.
Maybe 1 hour. If you have focus and concentration, you might have done that in 20 minutes because you already know how to do that. There is no learning there. You already know. You just have to do it. But because you didn't focus and because you didn't concentrate on the activity that you are doing, the same thing which can be done in 20 minutes, you have done that in 60 minutes. You wasted a lot of time and also energy. So to save the time and energy, to get expertise in the thing that you are doing, or to get success in what you are doing and get full benefit of that, what we need to learn how to concentrate and focus on the things. So we will go and see the tips to concentrate and focus. And before that, we go to the references from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying about the mind. So Mihika, do you want to read the first text file?
Okay, Mataji. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
So if we have a controlled mind and controlled senses, mind becomes our friend. And it helps us to elevate ourselves into a better person and even go back to Krishna. If we don't have a controlled mind, it becomes our enemy, which causes harm to us. Bhumi, can you read the next one?
Okay, Mataji. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of the friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
So what do we have to do to make mind our friend? We have to conquer our mind. So mind is inferior to us. We souls are superior to mind. That means we can get our mind under our control. It is not that we will get under the control of the mind. We can conquer our minds. That's why Krishna is saying, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. And for one who has failed to do so, you don't need to have any external enemies. Your mind will be your biggest, greatest enemy. You don't need anybody from outside to come and cause any kind of harm to you. You just need your mind, and your mind will spoil you to the core. So this is the reference. Taking this point from Bhagavad Gita, we all try to focus our mind, and we all will know how to control our mind and how to increase our concentration. So the first thing, what is the first thing, Mihika? What is the first tip?
Bringing mind back from distractions, get it under control, focus on activity that we are doing.
So there are 3 things in this first tip. So you sat down to do your homework, science homework, math homework, or whatever it is. You sat down to do that. Or you sat down to do a music practice. When you sit down, your mind, because it is not controlled, acts as an enemy. So the first thing it says that, okay, let's not do this. Let's go and watch TV. Or let's go and read the book and come back and do it later. Or let me go into the kitchen and eat a gulab jamun, which my mother has made. So mind will give you hundreds of distractions. The mind will be giving you distractions, and there may be distractions in the house also. If you are sitting in the hall where everybody is talking and where TV is going on, then automatically there are distracting agents around you. So first of all, you go into a room where there are no physical distractions, like there is no TV running, there is nobody talking loudly, or there is nobody doing anything. After physically going to a place where there are no physical distractions, the second thing that you have to do is control your mind, the thoughts which are coming from internal, because the external distractions are TV playing, parents talking, siblings fighting, or something or the other. These are external things. What is the biggest internal thing? Our mind. Our mind tells us. So whenever mind tells you to do something else other than the activity that you are doing, what should you do, Mihika?
Control it and get
You
it.
have to bring it back. You have to tell your mind that, no, I'm going to do math homework now. Or I'm going to chant my round. Or I'm going to read this book. Or I'm going to hear to this lecture now. So whatever the activity that you are doing, you are going to, when your mind is suggesting distractions, you're going to tell your mind that no, and then you're going to bring back the mind inside. And what you will do, you get it under the control, and then you make it focus on the activity that you are doing. If you keep practicing like this, one day, very quickly your mind will listen. Maybe the first day it give you 100 distractions. Second day, it will give you 90 distractions. Third day, it may give you 80 distractions. But at the end of the 10 days, if you practice focusing, it won't give you any distractions. It will start focusing on the activity that you are doing. It is already under the control. So don't think that, oh, I have to get control of mind from birth itself. No, it's not like that. Mind gets habituated to what you are making it practice. So the first tip is bring your mind back from the distractions, get it under control, and focus on the activity that you are doing. When you make it focus on the activity that you are doing, then it gets under control and we keep practicing that, then it will become very easy next time to control. And what is the proof for that? Bhumi, can you read this 6.26 here? This tip is suggested from sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Text 6.26. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self.
So it is we have to try to bring it back. It is not that the mind will automatically do. So if we know that we are the one who have to bring it back, then next time we will not be depending on the mind to do it by itself. We have to bring the mind by ourselves back whenever it is giving distractions. So next time, Mihika, will you try to practice this, Bhumi and Mihika? Whenever you are distracted, will you remember the first point to focus and concentration, that it is in your hands. It is in your hands to bring your mind back and focus on the activity you are doing. The mind will cry. The mind will be cranky saying, no, 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 no. I want to do this. I want to do something else. But it is you who are responsible to bring the mind under the control of yourselves. So that is the first tip. So the next tip is, Mihika, can you read this 6.16?
Okay. Text 6.16. There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. That is why we need to regulate what we take in at the level of the mind, which will help our mind become more efficient and effective. Our mind then becomes less of an enemy and more of a friend.
Okay, so let's go and see the second point. So the second point is regulated eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So these are the 4 regulative principles, right? If you have a test tomorrow and if you ate too much today, as soon as you sit down to study, what will happen? You'll sleep. You can't study. Or else you made a plan. Okay, tomorrow is Janmashtami. I'm going to chant 16 rounds during the Brahma Muhurta. And then you are sitting down until 12 o'clock watching TV. Can you wake up early in the morning and chant? No. So if you are eating and sleeping or not regulated, you cannot control your mind. Those of us who wants to control our mind and focus, we have to regulate our eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So mating is something which maybe you are still not aware. But Bhumi, go ahead, Bhumi. You have a question?
Yeah, like when will the story start?
Story? You want to hear to the story?
Yeah, like the moral of friendship.
Oh, that one is last week. Last week we discussed about the friendship story, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So today is another topic of concentration. So sometimes I bring the stories, like you already narrated the story of Arjuna and Bharat Maharaja. And next week again, we will see a wonderful story with another topic.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, Bhumi. So if we need to regulate, if you eat too much or if you sleep too much, or if you do any of these things without regulating yourself, defending also, let's say, you can defend yourself when somebody is attacking you. But if you just unnecessarily go and start fighting because your ego is hurt, or you just want it your way, then you lose your time. So when you have regulated habits of sleeping and eating, you will be able to control your mind. And also your mind is not a garbage to bring everything into your mind also. If you see, if you just open the TV and put it on, There will be so many things which you really don't need, the advertisements and all those things. So you need to regulate what you see, what you listen, what you read, all those things. So when you have regulated habits of all these things, you will be able to control your mind. And what is the third thing? So try to act, elevate yourself to mode of goodness. So you all know, right, how a person in mode of goodness will act. He will think before acting. I know, like, let's say you're driving to a place and there are instructions on the boards. If you don't see the directions and if you don't read the directions and if you don't see the instruction and if you keep driving, what happens actually? You may miss your place and you may go, right? So you have to think before you act. That is mode of goodness. Some people take quick decisions, like, they take decisions like snapping, like immediately out of anger, out of jealousy, out of enviousness. They do take decisions which they suffer and they also put others to suffer. And some people don't think at all. They are in mode of goodness. They just act. So we have to try to elevate ourselves to mode of goodness and we have to think and act. You have to think that the show which I want to see on Netflix or somewhere else is going to stay there. Once I finish my exam, once I finish my chanting, or once I finish my reading, I can go back and do that. I don't need to do it simultaneously. I don't need to worry about it. So if you think like that, and if you think in mode of goodness, then you will focus on your studies or you focus on the activity that you are doing. So you can all, if you when you are doing an activity, you think about another activity. So that time you have to think, oh, if I think about that other activity, then I won't be able to do this also nicely. So let me bring this back. So that's it. And the fourth one is Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna is the controller of everything. So we have to understand that when we have mercy of Krishna, we will be able to control our mind, our body, our consciousness, everything very nicely. So every day by having chanting a certain number of rounds, like maybe a one round that you are chanting, when you sit down and you chant focusedly, listening to each and every mantra, then you are connecting your consciousness with the Supreme Lord, with Supreme Energy. By that, we get strength to control our mind, and we will be able to bring our body, mind, and consciousness on one level. Otherwise, our body will be there, but mind will be somewhere else, or our consciousness is not pure. So we can bring our body, mind, and consciousness on one line when we connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. How do we connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by reading Prabhupada books, by eating prasadam, and by associating with good people. So these are the 4 tricks that we can use to focus, to concentrate. Also, one more thing, try to like the activity that you are doing. You get distracted because there is something else that you are attached to. Like you are more attached to watching TV or you are more attached to playing with your siblings. So that's why you are not able to focus on what you are doing. So try to love the activity that you are doing when you know that that is good for you, like your studies or chanting the holy name of the Lord or attending the classes or reading the books. Try to focus on that. Read one book at a time. And when you're reading, try to assess each and every word. That helps you materially and also spiritually. So these are the things, these are the tips that we can use to increase our focus. Okay? Any of you have any questions?
No, Mataji.
Thank you.
Mataji.
So will you all try to focus, concentrate by bringing your mind back whenever it goes into distractions?
Yes, Mataji.
Do you have distractions, Bhumi, or you are focused mostly?
Sometimes I have distractions.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever get into a trouble because of distractions?
Yes.
Mihika, you?
Same.
Same, right? So people nowadays are distracted. Can you all list some distractions? What are the biggest distractions?
Siblings coming in the room,
Okay,
disturbing.
okay. And what else? What else are biggest distractions?
People talking.
People talking. Phones. Are phones biggest distraction? Phones
TV,
are
the internet.
internet, TV, phones. All these things are biggest distractions. We have to try to regulate them. We should not, whenever a distraction comes, we should not go there and try to attend that. If you are chanting, if you are sitting down and chanting, what are the things you all do with concentration? Did you ever notice that? Is there anything that you do with a lot of concentration, Bhumi?
Maybe like,
Watching TV?
yeah.
Right? No, it is not wrong. We do that with concentration because we love it, right? We like it. That's why we do concentration with concentration. If somebody coming and distracting when you are watching TV, you will shout at them, right? Like you don't like it. Is that, Mihika, true? When somebody is coming and distracting you when you're playing nicely or when you're watching TV, you don't like it because you love playing, you love watching TV. So your mind already knows how to concentrate. It is just that you should start loving the things that you are doing. Whatever your parents are saying, so the teachers, parents, and scriptures help us to be on the right path. So when your parents are saying that this is the right thing, so don't get distracted. So instead of getting mad at your parents, instead of thinking that parents are not helping you, if you start loving what you are doing, like let's say math, science, or your job or your chanting, then you will do it with more concentration. You try to love it. You try to like it. That is the tip I use. Sometimes I doesn't like to work because when I have so many things on my plate, like, oh, I did not know what is the topic that I'm going to talk tonight with the kids, or I did not cook dinner, or when there are so many things, I don't like to concentrate on work. Then I tell to my mind that this is the work time, so I have to focus here. So let me focus on this and let me love my job. So when we try loving what we are doing, then the focus and the concentration increases. So we need to do activities that are recommended in scriptures, not like the bad activities saying that Mataji, I love watching TV, so I'll be doing more and more that. That is not going to help us in any way. So you have to do the activities that is going to help us, elevate us according to the scriptures, and we should start slowly loving them because you know that is going to do good for you, right? So even though the medicine is very bitter, if you know that you will not have fever anymore after taking medicine, you will take it. So similarly, if we start loving the thing that we are doing, automatically our focus and our concentration also starts increasing. So this is one final secret, that start loving the things that you are doing, activities that you are doing. Okay? Maybe we can stop our session here. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tanvat Pranam.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for a very, very nectarian class. And I hope kids will learn a lot, Mataji. Today topic is also very nice, and as well as you always you did a very fantastic session, Mataji. So it's really very.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnav ki jai, Srila
Srila Prabhupada.
Har Grace Vanmalini Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.